Hey there, everybody. My name's Nate Ruben, and in March, I did a Meditation March challenge where every day for all 31 days of March, I posted a unique video of myself on LinkedIn. Now, one of the things I was looking to accomplish was to test for myself and for clients the value of using LinkedIn video as a marketing tool. Today, I'm coming back to report what my findings were from an analytical perspective. We're going to take a deep dive at what did the numbers say, what did I interpret about the numbers, and then what can you do with that information? So without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so if you followed us over here, we're taking a look at the numbers. What I did is I made an Excel spreadsheet that analyzed all of the numbers directly from LinkedIn. So there are really a lot of cool tools you can use that will grab all that information for you. However, I did all this by hand because I had very specific metrics I wanted to grab, and I want to share those with you today. So the first thing I did is I listed out all 31 videos. I listed out what day of the week it was, what time of day the video was it morning, afternoon, or night? How many views did the video get? How many likes, comments? How many people did I tag? I wanted to find out if tagging people as well as the number of tags affected viewership. And then I tagged what the location was. So as I started to go through here, I did a summary so I could find out the total stats. I've been telling people that I had over 12,000 views of my videos for the course of a month. People like to hear that number. It's significant. Then I look to likes, comments, and people tagged. Now, if you look at people tagged, some of these are multiples and repeats, so I don't think that that number is really significant. But what I really do want to key in here is this average. So if we look at the average, my videos were viewed an average of 400 times each. To some of you, you might say that's not really a big deal. I see people getting thousands, tens of thousands, even millions of views. Well, for somebody who doesn't regularly have viral content, this 400 number is fairly significant. This is also showing about 12 likes and 4 comments per post. So if this is relevant to you, go back and look at your posts. See what kind of engagement you're getting. And I guarantee if you start implementing a video strategy, you will see those engagement numbers go up. But beyond just looking at every single post, I wanted to find out what were my most engaging posts. So first, I found the top 10. Then I found that that was not really actionable. So I narrowed it down to the top 6, which we'll look at in terms of content. But then I also wanted to see what days mattered, what time mattered, and so on. So looking here at what day, Friday, Monday were clearly the most visible for me. Now, I don't know if that's unique to me or if this is just an idea in general, but on Mondays, people are eager to get in and they want to see what's going on, but maybe they don't want to jump into work right away. So they're going to go online and try and find a little motivation or inspiration. And on Friday, people are done with work. They're glad to not be doing too much, but maybe they still have that buzz to look at the phone and see what's happening. Either way, those two are the most engaging days. Now, if I look at time of day, night clearly had every other time beat. And if you want to know why that is, personally, I think if you look at how often I posted, I skewed a little bit more towards the night, so that might be a little bit of bias. But also, I think some people are very used to decompressing by just scrolling through a news feed or a timeline. Either way, I'm grateful for the traffic, and I think it was extremely useful. Now, moving over to see my best views. The best viewed post I did was on a Friday night. I think that if you can find where your audience is most engaging, then what you can do is post when they're frequently on. Likes, comments, I don't think were super relevant. I think that was more of a byproduct of what the topic was. So that's the next thing I want to dive into, which is this green section. There is a very clear trend to me on what people found engaging. There were 3 topics that I did that were celebratory and almost like highs of the month. And then there were 3 topics I did that were almost like lows and sharing anxiety and other tough events. So what I take from that is people want to be there to celebrate with my success, but they also want to get a feeling for what the struggle is like. There wasn't really a lot of engagement on the in-between posts, so what I take this to mean is share what's actually relevant and significant, no matter whether or not you think it makes you look good or bad, but show what's authentic and what's significant. Now, I want to go up and say a little bit about what this did in terms of what did it create. It's one thing to say, okay, cool, you can create engaging content, but what's that going to lead to? If we look at here, I wanted to show you my connections. I've been on LinkedIn for 4 or 5 years, maybe even 6, and previously I was at 1,171 connections. Now, I'm not the kind of person who just wants to connect with strangers to get their number up. I'm pretty selective as to who I'll connect with. However, if I do see strangers who are influential in my network, and I see a lot of my people following and interacting, I'll connect. Well, over this 31-day period, I added 85 new connections, which is a 7.3% increase. Now, I don't know how many of you mathematicians are out there, but if you take a 7.3% increase and you multiplied that by 12, you'd be looking at 84% over the course of a year. To get 84% over the course of a year, when previously it took me about 4 to 5 years to draw up that number, you're seeing almost a 4 times growth, which is pretty significant because, like I said, these are meaningful connections. So putting out video was a great way for me to meet new people who had similar and relevant interests and added to my network equity. But then what kind of action did this lead to? Is this going to help me for my marketing? Is it going to eventually translate to a sales pipeline? So in terms of my online activity, I had 14 new messages that I don't think I would have had without doing these videos. Of those 14 messages, 4 of those turned into in-person meetings, 2 of those turned into proposals, and one of those meetings turned into having a new partnership. So I think that's extremely significant. If you're in a position to put out proposals, to sell, and to close, you want as many opportunities to expand your base as possible. But then looking at what happened offline, I had 2 meetings based on conversations I had with people offline who had just seen what I was doing online, and I had 3 additional proposals because of that. So I actually had more success offline because of LinkedIn than I did online. So this goes back to a big philosophical debate. Is it more important for you to be LinkedIn famous and have a lot of people connected with you, or is it more important for you to be real life famous, where people see what you're doing online and then it translates to taking real activity offline? Now, it depends on the business you're in, but for me, I like to be real life famous, and this is correlating or showing that my activity online is having real offline effects. So the last thing I want to show is this green box over here, where I'm taking a look at profile views, because I think profile views is an extremely significant indication of how well my content is bringing people to my profile. So if you see, the week before, I had 23 profile views. Now, if we look at various points throughout March, with one weekend I had 52 views. One weekend I had 62. The next week I had 46, and at the high point I had 67. We even see in April I had 63, but then once I stopped doing the video content, it dropped back down to 23. So the reason I'm showing this is, if we look at this graph, March is a significantly elevated period. We're seeing a percent change between 200 and almost 300%. If someone is able to continue and pump video content, it's my belief that they're going to see continued elevated activity. But on the flip side, if they're not willing to continue to invest in that activity, they will see a drop-off almost as sudden as they saw the increase. So what does all this mean for you? If you're in a position where it will help your business or help you be better at your job to be in front of more qualified leads, or to simply have a larger audience to get your message across, you should be doing LinkedIn video. In my eyes, the goal of the video is to deliver meaningful content that's going to lead to a conversation that could eventually lead to a proposal and closed business. However, for some of you, it just may be a great way to meet more people and to have your audience know what it is that you do for a living. So I hope if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, you'll engage in the comments below, and we can continue this conversation either online or offline. Have a great day and much love.